social media trend turned deadly after a Virginia high school student was shot and killed Saturday for doing a TikTok door knock prank.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment. IG TikTok bottom of the video, and we're just gonna hop right into it. So today we will be talking about the infamous, well, I ain't gonna say it's infamous, but the ding dong ditch gone wrong. So if you haven't seen Michael Bosworth Jr. and two other teens who haven't been named, Bosworth is obviously named because he did end up dying, but they were supposedly doing a TikTok prank that was recorded, and this TikTok prank, I guess it involved them, banging really loud on people's houses doors, and they banged on this certain house of a Tyler Butler, and one thing led to another, and Butler ended up shooting and killing Michael Bosworth Jr. RP, and grazing another teen, and the third teen was not hit at all, and he got away. So this took place in I think the houses might be in Spotsylvania, but I know Michael Bosworth's Spotsylvania. I don't know how to say that shit. That city in Virginia, Spotsylvania. But Michael Bosworth Jr., he was a senior at Massaponax High School in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So it was in that area. So, like I said, Tyler Butler was the one, he ended up shooting and killing Michael Bosworth, and he was being charged with second-degree murder, malicious wounding, and 2 counts of using a firearm in a felony. So that's pretty much all the basis of the case. Now we can surround the other things. So one thing that I saw this on another news report. I was trying to look for it in an article. I'm not seeing a lot of it now that I'm looking through articles and things like that. But supposedly, this neighborhood or area that Mr. Butler was living in supposedly had a rash of break-ins. So consider that when you also think about what I'm going to get into later. As well as Butler did call 911. Now, they haven't released the call, so I'm unsure if the call came during the act of, him hearing the banging and these niggas knocking on the door, or the call came after he shot his gun. But he did call 911, so also think about what I'm finna say later. And they also have a neighbor witness that basically said that these kids were, being obnoxious. And this happened at 3 a.m. Also, remember that when I get into opinions later. And so they had a neighbor witness that, basically complied to the same story about them playing ding dong ditch and it going too far. So if you were unaware, Virginia is also a stand your ground state. So like I said, with stand your ground states, certain stuff is worded differently, but in Virginia it is worded. You are not required to retreat if you are under imminent danger, and you can be used for deadly force. So originally, Mr. Butler was not charged with murder when the incident first took place, but after they did some investigation, wow, that was crazy. After they did some investigation, the police end up coming and charging Butler with the charges I said earlier. After they got some testimony from the third team saying they were playing ding dong ditch, and yeah. So now I'm basically going to get into my whole opinion of the case. So if this is your first time here, I am what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a supporter. I guess I wanted to say a different word, something that's more emphatic of how I feel about it, but I am a supporter of the stand your ground laws. I live in North Carolina, so we are also a stand your ground state. So I understand your stand your ground laws, and I think they are very necessary. So so don't get on my ass too bad. Honestly, I believe Mr. Butler is innocent and that he shouldn't be charged with murder, and this should be looked at as, well, I guess you would have to create a self-defense case. But the reason I say that is because, one, rash of break-ins. Now, we don't know what Mr. Butler was doing at 3 a.m. if he was up, just, enjoying himself in the house, or he was actually sleeping and awakened by this, which can also affect his case, because if you are awakened by a sound of banging at your door, you're going to react a lot faster thinking something's going to happen than if you were already awake. As well as it's 3 a.m. So 3 a.m., you're definitely thinking somebody's trying to break into your house. There's nobody, knocking for help or anything else at 3 a.m. So that's already one thing. As well as, like I said, it was a rash of break-ins. So the first thing you're thinking is somebody, if this already been a rash of break-ins, so the first thing you're thinking, if somebody's banging at the door after, everybody's in the neighborhood's house got broken into, you're thinking you're next. So of course you're going to go do what Mr. Butler did. Now, obviously you got the normal things of a murder for, I guess, this is kind of hard to call it a self-defense case because of the TikTok thing, but basically my thing is, if this is a TikTok thing that they were doing, one, where's the video of them, at least, because if this was going to be a TikTok, somebody, obviously Bosworth was probably the one actually doing the knocking on the door, and why he was the one that ended up getting shot and killed. But where is the video to start it at? You feel me? Because obviously you led up to the door, and you're going to, this is a prank, like y'all saying, you're going to record him doing this on the door. So you should have video evidence. Maybe it's just we haven't got the evidence. The police released it yet. But where is the evidence of this video before? Also, do y'all have a history of this? Have y'all already been doing prank videos? To me, I mean, usually you don't get caught doing the first time you do something. So to me, this wouldn't be y'all first prank video, and this wouldn't be the first ding dong ditch video y'all did. Now, if it was, y'all have extremely bad luck, and y'all should do nothing with content creation, because obviously that's what God's trying to tell you. But usually things like this is, after a few times. So where's the other videos and evidence of this? And the reason I'm a little skeptical of it, and maybe the police is just keeping it under wraps, usually stuff like this get exposed, somebody would be able to find their accounts with this. So usually this would have came out on the internet already, but it hasn't. So that's what makes me a little skeptical that maybe this wasn't a prank. Now, there was a theory, I did see this theory, that they were the ones actually behind the break-ins, and to cover their tracks, they just went with the TikTok idea. Now, we don't have no evidence to support that, nothing to say that, but that's not the craziest idea in the world, especially when there is a lack of evidence at the moment of these TikToks or pranks that they said they were doing. Now, certain things that come up in a murder for a self-defense case is, one, the number of shots. So they haven't really released how many shots were fired. I haven't really found any details about that, but Boswell being killed and somebody else being grazed, obviously it was multiple shots. So depending on the number of shots, that can get tricky in a murder for the self-defense case because of overkill and things of that sort. So that can get tricky, as well as where are these shots, at? Like, we have to get more of a exact thing of what's going on. Because what I wondered is, did he shoot through the door? Did he just hear some banging and just shot through the door? Did he open the door, see what was going on, and then open fire? Which is probably worse for his case if he opened the door, saw what was going on, and then opened fire. And, obviously, where did they get shot at? Because if bro was running away and he got his back turned to him, like, say bro opened the door and they just like, oh shit, took off running, and then he started shooting at them then, and hit and killed one of them and grazed the other one, it's a murder case. Let's be honest. If he shot them in their back, they're going to charge him with murder. Simple as that. Now, if he just heard some banging and there's evidence to say that he just shot through the door and he gets bruh in the front, like stomach somewhere in this area, and then he just happens, the bruh, they kind of like standing in line, he happens to catch the other one, then the case gets a little different. So that's some more details that's going to get into it. But with the details that we have presented at this point in the moment, and that we just have you being obnoxious at somebody's door at 3 a.m. after things of break-ins, and this being a stand your ground state, I believe that he is innocent at this moment in time. But like I said, we'll probably get more and more details as time goes on, so we're going to see with that. But it is sad that Michael Bosworth Jr. did lose his life, so RP. But it's an interesting case. So if it's like the details working out how they looking out, I'm hoping the best for Tyler Butler and his his process with the law. But that's all I gotta say though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. IG, TikTok, bottom of the video, and we out.